135 pounds has never been as fun as it is right now. I mean, Aljo's finally having some fun with Peter Yan, finally saying things like, I don't know if I'm going to give him the rematch. Why does he deserve a title fight? He just fouled me. He cheated. He was disqualified. I was waiting for that. I wanted to see that on the first day, on the very first day. And I also have the same question. And I have a prediction for you that we're talking about nothing and that those two are going to be matched up with each other next. I'm only sharing for you that it's a little bit of a surprise for me in that there has never been a fighter disqualified in the history of Nevada who didn't have his license held up because of it. Where there was some kind of a hearing, they'll hear him out. They'll come to the conclusion that it was unintentional, that he's already been punished. I'm just sharing for you that those things happen. Those things take time. They're talking about doing an immediate rematch. Nevada hadn't said boo, won't even answer their phone to give a level of clarity on it. There's really nothing too clear. I get how we got here. I'm speaking about for Aljo to guess ahead of time and see that historically, if a fighter is disqualified, he has licensing issues until he can work through them. Then you have Dillashaw, who's returned, who drew into Sandhagen. Henry Cejudo announced that he's coming back, but then went totally silent, so perhaps that was just for fun. We don't know. You have Dominic Cruz resurrecting himself and reminding everybody what a hard night out he is, and then you have Sean O'Malley. I mean, 135 pounds. Oh, by the way, did I make Frankie Edgar's down there? Jose Aldo's down there? I mean, did I mention 135 pounds has never been so loaded and so interesting and so many different stories, so many different directions you can go with storylines. This Sean O'Malley, Dominic Cruz talk, that's an interesting match. Sean O'Malley had a fight over the weekend, threw a punch, opponent went down, Sean turned and walked away. Announcers came out, me being one of them, and commented on the fact that that was an immaturity and he should have stayed in the moment. Sean came out, whether he's rewriting this or not, and said, whoa, you're misinterpreting. Of course I could have got a TKO. Of course I should have swarmed him. I didn't want a TKO. I didn't want to swarm him. I wasn't immature in that moment. I didn't lose sight of where I was. You interpreted it wrong from the beginning. I wanted a highlight reel knockout, which is why I wanted him back on his feet. Look, is Sean rewriting that? Yeah, I think probably. Does it matter? No. Is it a great story? Yes. Is it compelling? And it's a way that Sean is staying in the headlines even after he's fought? Yeah. Which is the most important thing and the hardest thing you will ever do in this sport. Very hard to even get an athlete to understand the news cycle. Very hard to get an athlete to understand you have 48 hours after your fight when this is still going, before it transitions and the wind blows in another direction and you're completely forgot about until you sign your next bout agreement. Sean not only understood, he manipulated, and here we are, days later, still talking O'Malley. I don't think he had anything against the TKO. I don't think he let that guy up. Who cares? Sean gave me somewhere to go. When you're talking to the audience, pretend that they're fools who know nothing and tell them what to think. I mean, right, if I'm a fight fan of Sean O'Malley and I go I want him to tell very clear direction. Here's the angle we're going. Think this, say that. And Sean did it. He does it every single time. So I think as you start looking around at 35, right? And Aljo Yan, by the way, it was an accidental knee, by the way. To give him an opportunity for a rematch is just the right thing to do. I'm speaking to having fun with this in the meanwhile. I'm speaking to Aljo, who was fouled, and now have people questioning his rightful seat at the throne. I'm talking about for Aljo to have a little fun and stick it up all of their ass. That's where that commentary is coming from. But even if we were to make believe that that was the way it is, and Aljo's going to fight someone else, there's no one left. Unless Cejudo is truly coming back, there's no one left because Sandhagen is now signed to take on Dillashaw. because Dominic Cruz has not said this is specifically what I want, which is another title fight, because those things just haven't happened, by default, if nothing else, yeah, I got it. We're Jan and Aljo. We're going to do it again.